I think I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, are you at, what happened? Your internet got rebooted?
I'm not sure what's going on. I took my laptop to a meeting earlier today, and I think it was a huge mistake. It started acting up over there. Oh, what's this symbol? Location in use. Okay. I can't figure out. Can you see me at all?
AWOP, would you give him co-host rights?
Why is this? Now I can't see you guys.
Wait a minute, she doesn't have, let me take hold. What's going on with you, AWOP? Wait a minute.
Let me do.
She doesn't haven't given you co-host. Wait a minute. Which computer am I on? Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Let me take host rights from her. I don't know what's going on with AWOP.
Remember my name for future meetings. Why is this there? Join. Okay, let's go.
Wait a minute. Let me get the co-host.
Let's see if this will make a difference. Okay, there. Join. Am I in?
Okay, you're here.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, I just made you co-host. You could turn your camera on and see what happens now.
Let's see.
Where's Fat May? Anybody else here? Fat May, let me make you co-host.
You cannot start your radio.
You can start it now.
But you know what? Let me go over here. I can hear myself. Oh, wait. I think I'm in twice.
Is he?
What do you?
We hear you. Is his name in twice, y'all? You guys?
Yes. Daniel McBride and
DMC. Yeah.
Okay. How do we take out the Daniel McBride?
Do you want me to take him out?
I can take that one out.
I can kick him out.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Let me go. I don't have no co-host.
Yeah.
Let me log into this computer here.
Yeah, the D McBride or DMCBR shows me talking.
I'll put him in a waiting room. Okay, he's in a waiting room.
Okay, let me go back. Where am I now? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, now I cannot see us anymore. What happened?
Okay, the DMCBR is co-host and you're in here with us.
Okay, I cannot. I'm going to have to come back in, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to exit and come in without everything.
Okay. Okay.
I'm here. I have some technical difficulties.
Okay, did he come? Oh, he's not. Let me know when he come back in, Anissa or somebody.
Okay.
Okay, there he is.
Yeah.
Did I make him the wrong person? I made Ahmad the co-host. Let me make him.
Audio, video. Nope.
Okay, there. Oh. Now you got it. I made you co-host now.
Okay. There. I can't see me.
Yeah, you turn your camera on. You got that little thing, but not you.
Okay, let me see.
There
camera. How do I do that?
You got
Why
that.
Is this happening?
You see that? You see that? You got that little symbol, but not your. It's like your camera's not connected.
You cannot start your video because it is disabled by the host.
No, look, see, I got it on. I got this, I allowed it.
Oh yeah, I see. Okay, so it's me. It's going to be one of these buttons down here. What's that? Poly Camera Pro. There it is right there. and I want to turn that on. This is crazy. Let's go there. Why is this not on? Don't want that. Why is this not working? Let's go more. Would it be under settings? And I want video and effects. All I want to do is turn it on.
Yeah, go to your video, click where your video camera is. Yeah, video and effects. This is a new, let me see how I got mine.
Yeah.
Yes. Your camera. You see where the camera is? Okay. Make sure, yeah, put it on the camera. Okay. Make sure whatever camera you're using, mine is Nexi Go. Put it on whatever camera your camera is.
Okay. There's that one. Let's see if that worked.
Whichever camera it is that you're going to be using. I got
Let's
mine on
try.
Nexi Go.
This is crazy. I've never seen this before. Okay, let me, it might be, touch up my appearance, adjust portrait. No.
Y'all just put it on whichever camera. Just click on the button that says camera and whichever camera is on. Whichever camera you're going to use. Click on drop down for camera and put it on whichever camera.
I definitely did that. And it is not showing me. I'll be right back. Let me grab my son.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Yeah, bear with us, guys. We're having some technical difficulties. So just bear with us, guys, and we'll start the class. Oh, and I see the banner. Let me fix this banner at the bottom, too. While he's working on that, let me work on the banner, which is just y'all, because what day Ramadan is this while we're working on that, too, guys? Let me set this up. Let me count. I have to count still to see what day it is. Let me go to
16.
This is the 16th day. Okay, let me go back to my banners.
That one I tried that, it didn't work.
Let me help him by turning off my camera so he can fix his.
Okay, we're working on it.
He got his son. You know, the son, inshallah, fix it.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Oh, he's got a voice like his dad's, y'all.
Sound just like him.
Sound just like him.
Sound just like him.
One of them. Oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
Sounds just
I
like
let him answer my phone just to mess with people.
Alhamdulillah.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
There he is. Oh, he's handsome.
Oh, there he is.
MashaAllah, he's handsome. How old is your son? Oh, look at him, guys. Oh, he's handsome. He's tall like you too, huh? He's tall. That's it.
Step back here. Look at this.
That's his Viking blood. How tall is he? Look at him.
Oh, here we go. It's embarrassing.
Oh, he's got to be about 6'6", huh?
5.
6'5", mashallah. Oh, he's
Oh my gosh, alhamdulillah.
You see that, sisters?
I'll close this door.
Those Somalis. Hey, Norto, Aisha, Meliun. I got these Somali sisters here. That's single. Meliun, did you see that?
He's single and he's got a good job. The Somalis are talking about you, bro.
All my Somali sisters in here that are single that just graduated from college. Y'all see that?
Oh, no way. Yeah, Abdurrahman is 21.
Y'all see that?
Oh,
he's gorgeous.
His older brother is
oh my God.
blonde, curly afro. which is really funny. Because when we were living in South Africa, his mother would be walking with him and going to the store and, you know, kissing on her son and stuff. And the parents used to complain, you know, those white folks, they would complain and they'd threaten to tell her employers that she kissed the baby too much.
Oh my God. Wow.
You should have seen that. That was what, 97. Malik was born, and he was born over there. And, you know, apartheid had just ended, what, 94 maybe?
Maybe 94, yeah.
I think so. So literally, those folks weren't knowing what to do with the three of us running around the neighborhood.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. We used to have so much fun. Anyway, should I start?
Okay, let me put this on. Yeah, you can go ahead and start. Okay, you got everybody's ready. Oh, let me share. Oh, hold on. It's my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, my fault, guys. We were sitting there doing the camera. And let me put you. Oh, they're saying I don't have you shared anywhere. Oh, hold on. Give us a minute. Yeah, I was busy setting it up. I don't even have him on Instagram. Oh, no, don't start yet. This is the most popular class too. My fault. My bad, guys. Hold on. No, don't start anything yet. It's me. They're going to be having a fit.
Yeah, I wish I would have known. I could have had that. He just messed with a couple buttons and everything's good now. Sorry.
Hold on, guys. Let me go to I'm not on Instagram. Oh, God. That's my fault. Oh, God. I ain't anywhere. Hold on. No, don't go. Nothing. I ain't even shared to the Facebook groups. Oh, no. Okay, here we come. I'm coming in live now. Everybody's ticked off. Well, at least y'all got to eat. That's the good thing. They said at least we got to eat. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Train the brain. Okay. Okay, I'm coming in now. Here we go. Let me hold on. Okay. Yeah, y'all can go on ahead. Y'all, at least y'all got to eat. I got my coffee. I didn't eat yet, but I got my coffee. Okay, hold on. I'm getting ready to share now. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Put this in here. Oh, yeah, he's real handsome. Yeah. My Somali sisters.
I'll tell you what, he's 21. He's got a great training. He's the one that does air conditioning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he and his older brother really love working with their hands. They do things that I never got the hang of, if that makes sense. It's really pretty cool. The boys, I hate to say it, I thought I was going to have 4 college graduates. The boys don't like school. They like fixing stuff. They're both good at what they do. They just don't like studying like
right.
But that's what's important. They are good at what they do. So that is everything.
All these African students I got in here, subhanAllah, and he's tall like they are. They are tall. He's taller than them. 6 feet 5.
Oh, his brother's 6'4".
Oh my God! And how old is his brother?
Malik is 28.
There you go, Norto. Norto's 5 feet 8. He's 6. Norto, your age. There you go.
Yeah, he's yeah, his sister's 5'8", the shortest one.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's that Viking blood. He's Viking blooded like me. My mother's side.
His mother says it's the African stuff.
And they're African.
So I'm not arguing with her.
There you go.
Yeah. A great combination of both worlds, eh?
Right. Viking and African.
Mm.
Okay, there we go. Okay, there. Everybody's joining in now. Y'all see it on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. We are live. Can y'all hear? Okay, let me start us off. Alhamdulillah. Oh, wait a minute. Awa? Can you hear now? Okay, alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulallah. Here we go, guys. Here's Dr. McBride live. We had some technical difficulties, but we're here. Mashallah. You guys got it there too? There's Sister Amira coming in from South. This is Reddit. There's the sister. Oh, there you are, brother. Sister Miko from South Africa. There's Australia. Okay, everybody's logging in. Okay, here's Dr. McBride with the lecture on the brain. So no further ado, I know you guys are breaking your fast and some of you are beginning your fast. So I'm going to just turn it right over to him so y'all can go ahead and get started. Go ahead, Dr. McBride.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Again, I'm sorry my camera was all over the place. My son fixed it for me and we're good to go, alhamdulillah. Today's talk is going to be a continuation of what we started last week with the young sister's question about brainwaves and sleeping and sound being music or not being music. Really good question about whether it's halal or not. You got to say it is. Sound is sound. And there are some healing, really cool, science has proven it. The Quran mentioned it. I'll give us a couple verses. And sound can be healing and harmful. So it's there. And Allah created everything. So there's going to be good or greatness in it, isn't there? The idea is when we're talking about sound, though, and using the Quran, for example, I want to start right with the Quran. The Quran, the main thing about the Quran is not maybe the recitation, it's not the version, or the person that's doing it. The main mechanism of action when we're talking about referencing the Quran and its healing powers, we should remember, this is what I was taught, it's the healing power is in the fact that it is the divine healing power because they are the words of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, if that makes sense. It's literally the healing power that we can derive from the Quran is the fact that they are Allah's words to us, and and then of course our belief in that, because there's all those people that are out there that don't believe in the Quran, they won't feel anything, but we fully acknowledge Allah being all powerful. I mentioned the 99 names in the book I'm reading. We talk about security, we talk about safety, we talk about healing, we talk about the sustainer, we talk about all these, the qualities of Allah, and only the ones that he named himself are the ones we're aware of, knowing that it's limitless. But the thing I want us to remember is not so much the reciter, and we can have our favorites or certain tones and sounds appeal to us because we are all unique creations of Allah. The healing power is from the fact that they are healing powers, are from the fact that they are Allah's words, the divine words that Allah has blessed us with. So, of course, there's that innate healing that can be found in them. And then there's the term and the act of ruqya that the Prophet ﷺ used. And I'll talk about it in a moment. Let me give us a couple verses first so I don't jump ahead of myself. Chapter 17, Al-Isra, verse number 82, and I took the first half of that out of the Quran. We send down the Quran as a healing and a mercy for the believers. And the second half of that sentence is the non-believers will be punished and ignored it. But it literally, the English translation is we send down the Quran as a healing and a mercy for the believers. And then Fusilat, if I'm saying that right, chapter 44, verse 44. Had we revealed it, the Quran, as a non-Arabic Quran, they would certainly have argued, if only its verses were made clear in our language, what a non-Arabic revelation for an Arabic audience. Say, O Prophet, it is a guide and a healing to the believers. As for those who disbelieve, there is deafness in their ears, blindness to it in their hearts. They can't hear it, they can't learn it, they can't understand it, and therefore it never makes it down to their hearts. It is as if they are being called from a faraway place, and meaning they can't quite make out the sound in the distance. There's also hadith, a couple of them, report that the Prophet ﷺ told us that Al-Fatiha is a cure, and Aisha radiallahu an
anha, reported that whenever a family member became sick, the Prophet ﷺ would recite El-Ikhlas, El-Falaq, and El-Nisa, or El-Nas. Sorry. El-Nas over them. Ikhlas, Falaq, and Nas over his sick family members. So we've got Quran that references healing, and we also have the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And again, with the understanding that it's the reliance upon Allah and the divine power, the ability comes from believing in Allah, not so much just any set of words or any herbs or any medicines. We have to understand that Allah gave us the ability to heal with the help of this stuff through his authority. Again, for me, the tying up of the hadith, tie up your camel and rely on the qadr of Allah. If the camel's going to be there, it's going to be there whether you tied it up or not, but you should do everything in your power to do what you need to do, including taking care of your health. And we're told how to do that too. But then we go into, now we'll talk about the alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma waves that we talked about last week. I broke this up into where they start, what functions. You'll like this, I hope. Humans typically cannot hear anything below 20 hertz. Anything below 20 hertz, we cannot hear. Some people with some extraordinary hearing have been tested as low as 12 hertz, but that's a rare occasion. That's rare. Usually below 20, we can feel the vibration like probably like an elephant rumble, or we can hear the high-pitched whale sounds, but then there's also the deep rumbling, different animals, different feelings that we get caused by sound. Below 20, we can't hear. And that's important because I'm going to talk about some of these. We talked about the waves the other day, alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma. You can't hear three of them. You can't even hear them. That's why I'll define and describe binaural beats and how they work. Now, what we have are the different binaural beats. Typically, to make this work, binaural beats. If you're using, you may listen to certain sounds, like you turn on, you let your computer play sounds in the background, you let your phone play sounds in the background, whatever you use to listen to these sounds, and they can relax you. We all have our frequencies. After we talked last week, believe it or not, my mother and I sat down and we ran through some binaural beats, and both of us determined that what YouTube, the site she picked, what YouTube had listed as theta is the one we liked the most. We didn't like delta. We didn't like gamma, was a little too high frequency for me, but that's a phenomenal, we'll talk about that. That's a phenomenal frequency for binding the brain, everything in the brain together. But you cannot hear the lower three, the first three. You can only hear beta and gamma. What binaural beats does is that actually sends in two different sounds. So you'd want to use a stereo. You'd want to use with two different speakers on either side, or you'd want to use headphones, and you'd want to use stereo headphones or stereo ear pads, earpods or whatever they're called. I use plug-in headphones because I don't like the EMF, the magnetics frequency that close to my brain. So I still use in the corded ear set. The idea is you want two different sounds, binaural. You've got two different sounds coming in. Now pretend you can't hear theta. You can't hear delta. Delta is between 0.5 up to 4. That's a lot below 12 and a lot more below 20. You can't hear that. You can't pick it up. You might be able to feel the vibration of the sound because all sounds have waves and pressure, but you can't hear it. So what binaural beats does, right? Something less than 4 is theta. So below 4, is delta. below 4. No, yeah, delta is 4, up to 4. So what you have is, pretend you play a sound at 300 in one ear, and you play a sound in the other ear, or binaural beats, the companies do. You play 300 in one ear and you play 303 in the other. Your brain doesn't like that disconnect. Two different sounds, that's all you hear pretty much. That's what's coming in. So your brain actually, they say it creates a different sound, or you can phrase it where they balance out and it creates the 3 hertz frequency. So now you're in delta at 3, even though the original sounds were 300 and 303. So they're even higher. But binaural, those waves cancel each other out. The only thing you're left with is 3 hertz. That works for theta, delta, and alpha. Theta, delta, alpha. Because those 3 are below the 20. Now what we're going to do, let's talk about, now that we know what binaural beats are, let's talk about wave origins. Where do our brain waves start? And this is hugely important for what I do in the office, that when I'm lasering or cold lasering, when I'm providing the energy to different areas, it's really important for me to know that alpha, beta, believe it or not, we can't hear alpha, right? And we can't hear beta and gamma. All 3 of those waves, all 3 of them, alpha, beta, and gamma, are waves. They are created between the thalamus in the middle of your brain, and it's the oscillations between the thalamus feeding up into your cortex and your cortex feeding back down, because your thalamus is a gigantic filter. Everything, almost everything goes through your thalamus, almost everything. Every sensation, almost everything goes through the thalamus. So what happens is that activity creates oscillations, and depending on what kind of activity it is inside your head, you'll end up with alpha, beta, and gamma. And what I'll do is I may laser the whole head or one side more than the other. And if I'm trying to stimulate a certain wave, my laser has settings on it, and I can either target the organ, or I did over the ear. I can either target the organ and the thalamus back in here, deep in the head, or I can use the wave that I'm trying to stimulate, an alpha setting, a beta setting, or a gamma setting. So it's really important that you remember, for us, thalamus stimulation. And there's different ways. You can even search that up, or we'll talk about it on another day. But that's where they come from. The theta waves, really cool. That's the relaxation part, getting ready to fall into sleep. The theta waves are actually from your cerebellum and your brainstem, and they are right on top of each other. If your brainstem is shaped like this, your cerebellum is off the back of it, something like this. Your brainstem being the long, skinny part just before your spine comes out of your head, and your cerebellum is this part right here. So what you do there, again, now that I know that, if I want to stimulate theta, then I may light that area up with one of the brainstem settings, a cerebellar setting, or the theta wave setting on my machine. And then delta, it really comes, believe it or not, the deep sleep comes from within your emotional system, your limbic system. And I mention these names because if you wanted to, you can even search up on your computers right now. Where is the brainstem? Where is the cerebellum? Where is the limbic system? Limbic system has multiple parts of the brain in there, but that tends to be right behind your frontal cortex and right in here in your temporal area. And then you can point at that area with delta waves. The wave functions. This is really, really cool. Delta is up to 4 hertz. That is your dreamless, non-REM sleep. That's also, believe it or not, hugely important for pain relief. So when I'm treating patients, we can actually go over, and remember, delta is limbic system, so I might come in through your temporal lobes and light up that area to help with a delta setting to help ramp down your pain centers. Remember, pain also ties very closely to your emotional system. When something hurts, you tend to be emotionally ramped up. So it makes sense. If you can ramp down the limbic system with some delta waves, you can certainly ramp down the pain a little bit. It also how do we say, delta waves tend to be subconscious. You're not thinking of them. One of the reasons we talk about it being non-REM sleep is the fact that you lose a sense of bodily awareness in delta. Yes, some people have dreams and they're intense enough that they react and the spouse gets startled or the arm comes over and they get mad and you get in trouble in the morning because you hit your spouse or whatever, or kicking. So what happens is you're moving up out of delta, maybe into theta, right? And now your brain is aware of your body and you're getting some physical reactions. But theoretically, most of the time, as long as you stay down in delta below 4 hertz, you literally lose bodily awareness. And it's a very subconscious place to be, deep sleep, right? And it's, like I said, it's non-REM, no eye movement, very little. There's still a lot of brain activity, but there's not the physical response with eye movement and maybe some bodily movement. Then you move into theta, which is 4 to 7. Yes, 4 to 7. This is what, like I said, this is the drifting off towards sleep. What you'll be, delta is here. So what you're doing is you're literally moving down, starting at, if you're into theta, you're at 7, you're moving down 6, 5, 4, 3. Now, once you cross 4 into 3, you're into delta. That should be the deep sleep. The theta is that there are times when you may literally tell yourself, holy cow, I know I'm nodding off. I feel so calm and comfortable. I know that. I know that feeling. And that is, again, if delta is deep sleep, subconscious, non-REM, no eye movement, all of that stuff. Theta is the REM sleep. And think about how tight these hertz are. We're 0 to 3, less than 4 for delta, and theta is 4 to 7, which is, these are teeny tiny measurements, tiny differences. And delta is subconscious, no movement, no anything, deep sleep. Theta is REM sleep, an inner peace, a calm. You've got that you're still, if it's not REM sleep, this is what they measure a lot of these deep, well-practiced yogis, that this is that deep meditation stuff. And again, you can train it in, train it out. This is where they try to move people into addiction help. This is a lot of healing stuff. Theta is that deep calm, removing the stress, removing these, particularly with addiction. If you can decrease the stress response, a lot of times, you decrease the need for a crutch. And you definitely want to move below beta. That's something else. Then we move into, so we've got delta 0 to 4, we've got theta 4 to 7, and then we've got alpha. Remember, theta is that inner peace. Alpha is just above theta, right? Picture this. You're coming out of your deep sleep in delta. You're moving into theta, or you're moving the other way, going towards deep sleep. But pretend you're waking up. You come out of delta, right? You come out of delta. Then you move into theta. We've got 0 to 4. We've got 4 to 7. Then we're moving into alpha, which is relaxed. Your eyes are closed. You're daydreaming. Think about how tight these are. 4 to 7, 7 to 13. Alpha is 7 to 13 hertz. You don't have to remember this stuff. But remember, you can't hear these 3 yet. You can't hear any of them. So when you're doing binaural beats, those 2 different sounds, they come together and all you're left with is delta, theta, alpha. But alpha is 7 to 13. That's what they talk about. That's your awake, but you're calm, relaxed. That's usually your flow state, 7 to 13. I'll talk about it later. Kids are usually on the lower end. If we do a QEEG with an adult, and I find an adult with a 7, wow, that brain is real low functioning, and we've got to get it up higher, okay? They say over 10 is that, I think it's with alpha, over 10, that's the elite level athlete, that's the genius brain function, that's the really high functioning flow state, 7 to 13. Okay. And that's also maintaining, usually you get in that flow, right? That's that's great focus. That's learning mode. You get the serotonin, which tends to be a right hemisphere, as compared to dopamine being a more receptive left hemisphere. So alpha is usually your flow state, your learning, your focus, and a lot of creativity. Lots and lots of creativity. Some of it tied to that serotonin in the right hemisphere. Now let's move from 7 to 13. Then we move into beta, which is 13 up to 39. So there's a big one here. And this, you can be low beta, you can be high beta. It's better to be mid to low in beta, because high beta is usually, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, I believe. You literally have high beta is usually where the psychopathies happen. I think schizophrenia happens up there. High beta, there's a lot of issues there. Imagine beta is your alert state. You got hyper concentration, hyper focused, hyper arousal, hyper alertness, motivated. If it's in good beta, the mid to lower, take the mid, I should say. You want to be in the midsection somewhere with beta, and all of those things can be your focus is better. Beta tends to be a left hemisphere. That's your focused attention, as compared to the right hemisphere attention, which is global attention. This is very linear attention. So what you have is beta is that focused concentration. Okay, focused. What else do we have there? Again, we've got arousal. So you're alert, you're paying attention, which is a great thing when you're wide awake. You're motivated to get it done. Again, imagine you're focused and motivated on whatever the project you're trying to do, the homework you're studying, whatever you're trying to learn, whatever you're trying to do, you're focused and you're alert. Phenomenal. Then you move into problem solving. Those just work. When you're in middle beta, you're just killing it on that task at hand. Okay. And then if it becomes too high, like I said, now you got this crazy, your focus is so singular, you're hyper aroused, you're hyper alert, and then that can create anxiety and blah, blah, blah. So that is literally, that's why high beta is a problem. Gamma, huge, which is really interesting. I always found this interesting how when you're in beta, 13 to 39, if you move up into the 30s, it could pose a problem. But once you move into 40, this is interesting, gamma. Once you move into 40, if you remember last week, I said, think about you're trying to negotiate while you're awake. And we're working on something. You're going to be more left hemisphere, more beta. At the same time, I want my big picture to tie ideas together and to remember to put other things together while we talk that are here, right? I want to tie everything together. So I've got a lot of beta on this side, and I've got a lot of alpha over here. So these two things are giving me my big picture, the overall talk, and then the left side gives me talking about beta by itself right now. Then I talk about gamma, then I talk about, well, imagine alpha and beta are trying to talk, but alpha is running at about 9 and beta is running at about 25. Well, when you talk radio and frequency, 9 and 25, they could be the exact same radio. They came out of the same box for you and your friend, but you've got it set at 9. The other person, your friend, has it set at 25. The frequencies don't match. How did Allah solve that? He gave us gamma. It's crazy. High beta could be a problem, but once you move up to 40 or above, and some research shows as high as 120, once you move above 40, you're into gamma. Gamma is self-control. This is also your eureka moment. This is where you're like, oh, and it all came together. Because gamma actually allows, picture your 25 beta and your 9 alpha. Gamma comes together And that allows these two now to talk. Still two different frequencies, but gamma allows everything to come together, and that's your aha moment. Okay? Now remember, there's a difference between alpha, that's your creative flow, and gamma is everything ties together, and there it is, the idea pops out. All the studying you did, it finally makes sense. You wake up, or somebody says a phrase, or you're just sitting there daydreaming, and all of a sudden you go, got it, problem solved. That's usually in gamma. That's also, what do we say, feeling of oneness within yourself. It binds things together, and it binds all the above frequencies together. It's really, really cool. Gamma is usually, like I said, it's 40 plus. It binds brain activity together, especially motor, meaning movement, right? Motricity, motor movement, and cognitive function. So there's darn near, I'd have to say, of the millions of research projects that show exercise, some kind of physical activity, even if it's just walking. Exercise enhances learning. The latest research now, I think actually Finland did a real cool project. Finland, one of those really north, everybody, they've got healthcare, they've got lifetime insurance, they've got all this stuff, right? They moved their entire educational system over to computers, to machines. And everyone had an iPad, everybody had notebooks, everything was on computer. They were doing. They thought using technology would help. They found all those kids for years, decreased brain function, decreased grades, decreased memory, decreased everything. They pulled all the tech out. They realized that they got better grades with something as simple as movement and taking notes. Motricity or motor movement. You're combining writing. I'm listening to the word. I'm moving it through my head. I'm moving it down and writing it down. There's the motor movement. My eyes are probably focused on my paper. And you've got eye movement, you've got hand movement, you've got all these things tied together. You're seeing it, you're hearing it, and you're writing it down. All of that ties together for the learning process. And then when I was growing up, we had phys ed every day. As an elementary kid, we went outside when it wasn't miserable. I grew up in upstate New York. When it wasn't miserable, we were outside. That's just the way it was. The only time we really did anything inside was in the winter. We played basketball. Sometimes we went out and played roughhouse or played football in the snow, the guys and the girls, which is really interesting as little kids. Some of the girls were tougher. We're supposed to be doing hand touch, and people knocking each other in the snow was really cool. But the idea is, like I said, I think it was Finland just let this stuff go a couple years ago, last year, whenever it was. They moved all the tech out. They got rid of tech in every classroom. They increased physical activity, and they went back to the old school studying, because that, like I said, when you tie motor activity and cognitive function together, you're also moving the brain. Think about what we're talking about, why I told that long story. You're actually more likely to increase gamma wave function, which is what your brain uses to tie everything together. So you got alpha going on over here, you got beta. Hopefully you don't have too much delta. You could have you wouldn't have much theta either. So, but the idea is when we do things in the office, we used to be able, in the old office I worked in, we'd get this reading of the brainwaves, and they're always a little, every wave is always active a little bit. Depending on what you're doing, there's different wavelengths peak. So literally the gamma, think about this, motor activity and cognitive function at the same time, that also stimulates more gamma waves, and you want more gamma. I've got a gamma on my laser setting. And then, like I said, it's actually 40 hertz or more by itself, 40. Like I said, because you can hear both beta above 20, and you can hear gamma, which is clearly above 20. It's above 40 plus. So that's really, really huge. And like I said, to reinforce gamma, and it's not the Hulk green gamma stuff from outer space or a machine. It's literally gamma waves, and the gamma settings actually bind things together in the brain better. Really cool. Let's talk about where, and I jumped around a little bit because I included some of this. You've got brain waves, the location of the function, delta. Like I said, that's usually 0.5 up to 3.5, deep, deep brain layers tied into the thalamus. And it's, if I wanted to ramp a patient down, we'd use delta settings, we'd use theta settings, right? Delta in particular. And that ramps things down, calms things down if we can increase a little bit of delta. And again, we'd aim for running over the thalamus and in that area, that deep, deep, deep brain area in the middle. Then you also have theta. Again, it's usually somewhere around 4 to 7 or so. And that's an area don't worry about where it is, nucleus reticularis, and that slows neurons' brain function down also. Then you jump into alpha, which is with the pacemaker neurons. That's also in the thalamus. Remember I talked about 3 of them? You've got the alpha waves somewhere around 7. It could go as high as 12 to, could go a little higher, 13. That sets the pace. That's that calm, thoughtful part of everything. Then you've got beta, 12 point, you've got runs, we'll say 13 up to say 39. Like I said, you really want to be somewhere in the 20s. That's the fast activity. That's your brain talking to itself, doing beta activity. Then gamma ties it all together to get the whole brain talking together. But that is also not just brain to different parts of the brain, but it's also thalamus to the brain and brain to the thalamus. General information about this, you've got the brain waves tend to be low frequency waves, and particularly babies. Babies are literally the low frequency. That's why I said when we do an EEG on an adult, if they are down in the teens somewhere, that's just wrong. If they run real low all the time, then that tells us they are immature. And you should move more beta. You should move into the higher sides of things as you age. Like I said, if you got too much low frequency activity, I know your brain's immature, and your friends probably tell you you're kind of immature anyway. Actually, my kids say I'm very immature. But the idea is that the lower frequencies, when you do QEEGs and you see a patient that's running a lot of, literally, even wide awake, you might be running a lot of delta, you might be running a lot of theta, more alpha than it should be, or larger, and your beta and gamma are real low. We know that brain's immature, and that sets up for all kinds of thought process problems. Even if you're not dementia, even if you're not Alzheimer's, it's not the disease state, it's actually brain function and connection. So as adults, we should run it on the higher side of it. Like I said, the theta tends to be on the left side. Gamma ties everything together. Beta tends to be on the left side, and alpha tends to be more right. And depending on what we do, you can see different activities, but that's where they tend to live, if I can say that. The left brain tends to be more beta, and the right brain tends to be more alpha. Then we also have, I'll summarize that part. Delta is sleep. That's 2 hertz, about 2 beats a second. The thalamus does not allow senses to go into the brain during sleep when you're in delta. Theta, that's the drowsy part. That's usually 4 to 7 or so. Alpha, anything over 7 to 12. That's really hugely important. There's something called the default mode network. When you close your eyes and just relax, that's a really cool thing you might want to look up just to see what the computer says about that default mode network. That's the quiet, the calm, the clear your thoughts, ramp everything down. Really cool running in a default mode network. The minute you open your eyes, default mode network disappears. That is also, alpha tends to be the area that you run what we call your, and I touch it because I'm thinking of it, your sensory area is just behind midline. That's 3, 2, 1. And your motor area is right in front of that. That's 4, 6, 8, some 9. But this is your sensory motor area. So you've got 3, particularly 3 and 4. 3 on one side of the canal, the sulcus, and 4 on the other side of the sulcus. So that is your sensory motor rhythm area. And that usually runs about 8 to 12 on people. And like I said, when you sit up around 10 to 12 on a regular basis, that is not just the sensory motor area, but your alpha brainwave. That tends to move you really cool into that genius level activity because you're still awake running things. But that alpha, high alpha, that's that creative side. And then gamma ties things together, alpha, beta, while you're focused, you're concentrating, but you're relaxed with the alpha. Gamma ties that together. Oh, that's that creativity. That's that getting things done. That's that spark is compared to gamma tying everything together, creating your eureka moments. That's all part of it. And then you've got beta, which is the focus concentration. That's where you're taking your test, there's a lot of, there might be fine detailed muscle movement is compared to gross motor movement, or fine detailed control of even your larger muscles, beta. And then of course, like I said, gamma that ties it all together. That's 20 plus, maybe as low as 25, they measure as up into the 140s, and some research takes it even higher. Like I said, most mental diseases happen in the lower ranges, though. So that's why we want appropriate activity, especially in different areas. And then as a side note, I wanted to finish with, when we talk about frequencies and waves and hertz, there are also, what do we say, hertz in terms of, if you guys have ever used or heard of vibration platforms, those are also hertz. But I'm going to separate sound, brainwave hertz, sound wave hertz, remember, because you can't hear below 20. So you got sound waves creating brain waves, but high sound waves creating low brain waves, as I explained earlier. Well, you also have hertz in terms of vibration. And I use I've got one right over there. I use vibe plates or vibration plates for treatment. And here are some really cool settings. If you guys have a vibration platform, or if you wanted to, you can get them. You can find them for on sale at a very low price. Something well below $200. I think I got mine for $180, and it's gigantic. It's literally, because I got it so that I could stand on it and hold my patient or stand next to it, or it's big enough that they don't feel like it's too small to stand on. Does that make sense? Mine's huge. I got it so that we can sit on it. I can sit with babies. I can have parents sit with babies to get that vibe going. Now I'm going to give you some settings. Really cool. And it should be in the blog. When we use the vibration platform for when I can target particular needs. For example, pain and discomfort. You want to vibe most patients, and everyone's unique, so it could aggravate it too, especially if it's a broken bone, right? You wouldn't vibrate a broken bone. But if it's a pain or discomfort, generalized, you can set the vibration platform for 31 hertz. 31 is really cool. There's a lot of research to show it ramps down pain and discomfort. And then it also, you can be lasering or listening to sounds, as we talked about earlier, to ramp down pain. Muscle activation with paralysis. You want to ramp that up a little bit. While I'm treating a patient, I might put muscle stim TENS units on their legs, for example, set their feet on the vibe platform at 40 hertz. Vibration for muscle activation, or to help ramp down change the paralysis. If you're going to change paralysis, 40 hertz is really important. and muscle activation. If it's real flaccid, if it's a stroke, we can change things somewhere in around that 40. If you've got a lot of swelling or edema in joints, you can rest your hands on it. You can stand on it. I'm a big fan of the whole body. If you can stand on it, stand on it. If you can't stand for very long, sit and put your feet on it. If it's big like mine, you can almost put a stool and sit on it. But edema, you would set it at 10 hertz. So you've got pain at 31, you've got muscle activation at 40, you've got edema at 10. Really cool, which is really interesting. You also have balance and coordination at 10 hertz. The cerebellum, you want to stimulate your cerebellum? Do some kind of weird, like I said, remember the infinity sign? That's considered a complicated movement. You could do an infinity sign with either side and stand on the vibration platform. You'll take care of cerebellum, you'll take care of movement, balance, stimulation, coordination, and edema. Because balance and coordination is also 10 hertz. Cerebellar function is 10 hertz. You want to improve your balance and coordination? You want to balance out your emotions? Set that thing at 10 and vibrate for 10, 20 minutes. 10 is a really cool setting for both swelling and cerebellar function. And the cerebellum levels off your thoughts, it levels off your emotions. It actually improves coordinated eye movement. Did you know your cerebellum is hugely important because it's motor control, right? So you want balanced movement on both sides. So vibrating your child, if they have an eye control problem. Did you know, I think you should remember from a previous talk, the cerebellum is also important to smell. If you can't sniff, your cerebellar function is off, vibrating at 10. Then we also, let's move over to cortical stimulation or a whole brain stimulation. That pushes us up back to about 40 hertz. And remember earlier I said motor function and brain function, didn't I? 40 hertz stimulates brain function and motor function. Alhamdulillah, completely ties together, doesn't it? Then we move into right brain stimulation. For example, pretend you had a right brain stroke. You can't stand, or if you are standing, what you can do is stand with your left foot or sit with your left foot on the vibe plate, either way, and then put your right foot on the floor. Or if you're standing on something, put something next to you so that you can stand and you're not tilted. The idea is you would vibrate the left side, going to vibrate the whole body, but mainly that left leg, right? So then you're going to vibe this left side. I did that with a patient. I think I told you that story. She came in, she had a right hemisphere stroke. While she was on the vibe plate, I tapped the tricep muscle to get that active again. So imagine she's vibrating for 10 minutes, excuse me. I said 20. She's vibrating for 10 minutes. She might have forced that arm straight because she got tired of me whacking her with the reflex hammer. But by the time we were 10 minutes in, her arm hung completely straight and she walked out of the office. The stroke was only 4 months old, but it works. And then if it's a left brain stroke, it would be the other way. Right leg on the vibe plate. If there's any arm stuff, and you can use muscle stim up here too, and put the pads on the back to get the left to extend or to get the right to extend, whatever you're doing. But it's if you have a stroke over here, you stim this side. If you have a stroke over here, you stim this side. And like I said, you can just put one foot on. And again, what you're going to do is run that stuff at about 40. As a side note on sound, to close this out, 130 hertz sound has been shown in some research to improve your Parkinson's gait. And then vibration at 130, it may stop the tremors, and then add to that your 10 hertz for the cerebellum, and you're getting balance controlled movement from your brain, and then that 130 through the body or the sound, like I said, sound again, may improve Parkinson's depending on who you are. In summary, do you have any questions at all? I know this is kind of deep, but if you have questions that I can tie it together better for you, feel free to ask. And if my niece out there has any great questions, sister, I have her ask. Walaikum salam, sister. It's great to hear from you.
Alhamdulillah. It's always great to hear from you.
Alhamdulillah.
But so with that, what type of stroke, when you're speaking of strokes, there's a drug, I forget what the name of it is, but they shoot it through you. They put it in an IV, or you have an IV on you, and they shoot that drug in the IV, and it's very painful. It's very painful. But they shoot it through you to somehow bring you out of the stroke when the stroke is fresh, or
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it, but what happens is there is a huge danger that stroke, that denial of blood, oxygen, and nutrients to a teeny tiny area. Okay. Once that cell gets damaged, it could stimulate or those cells get damaged, it could stimulate a reaction in the surrounding tissue. So what they do is they give you this medication. If they can get it to you, I think it's 5 hours, 4 hours. If they can get it to you at the beginning of the stroke, it actually thins everything out, ramps down the risk, and should decrease the amount of damage that any one stroke is going to give you. Does that make sense? So I can't remember the name of it, but if they can get it to you early, I'm so glad you asked that. A friend of mine, a classmate, a schoolmate, this woman, I hadn't talked to her in probably 20 years, but she's down in Fort Lauderdale. She was on a plane. It always happens this way, right? You're on a plane, this patient has a stroke. She's traveling with her older daughter, they're both adults, and she has a stroke on the plane, but it didn't wipe her out truly. The whole face drooping happened. She got a horrible reaction, and she was diabetic. So now she's craving, picture this, you're in the middle of the stroke and she's craving food. She's shoving food into her mouth because her body is almost dying, right? It's having a stroke. The body knows, the brain knows. So now the energy demand ramps up. The body's trying to survive. Her blood sugar is all over the place. So now she's craving food because she's starting to go low blood sugar because her body's using so much energy to help heal or work with the stroke. My friend is a chiropractor. They ask for a doctor and no one else stands up. So finally, she gets up and she goes up front and she sees it. And the daughter says she's a diabetic. That's why she's eating so much. And she's like, no, man, this is actually a stroke also. And they were in the air, flying. They're not even like hardly halfway to their location. It's like cross-country flight out of Florida to like Cali. And they're like halfway there. And she literally tells the stewardess, okay, this is what's going to take place. They need to get the medication in within a certain amount of hours, right? And it's like 4. And their landing was right at about 3 to 4 hours. But by the time they could get her to the hospital, it would have been outside the time window. They literally had to land in Arizona part way to the end of their trip to save this woman from being worse off so that they could get the medication in a major hospital in like whatever big city is in Arizona, like Phoenix or Tucson or wherever they are, right? So they literally, they got her, they landed early, they got her off the plane, the ambulance was waiting on the tarmac, and they literally diagnosed the stroke, and they stopped there because they checked and they confirmed that hospital treats brain trauma strokes. And that medication you're talking about helps
I think if I can say it right, I think it's actually just a clot buster. And it literally helps break down clots so that the blood flow can get through and not as many cells die from the lack of oxygen and food. Does that make sense? That's that's how it works. And that's the medication you're talking about. It is literally.
Yes, because I could see them like running, like they had already given the medication, but for some reason it wasn't working fast enough. So there was like, he was running and I saw him jump over something, jump over something to get it. And then, you know, all over.
Calm down for me here.
And it happened again before they
the scary thing, the big issue with strokes is literally, if you have one, you've got to worry about a second. You know, it's too bad. Some people, like Imam Ibrahim, he told me he had 7 while he was in the hospital, waiting for the transplant he was waiting for. And the lack of activity, probably some change in diet, the stress, the toxins that are flowing through his body, because it was a liver issue. It was horrible. And he said 7, which I know means a lot, multiples. So yeah, if you have one, you're likely to have more. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, that was something. And I always wondered.
I know it was.
And I mean, here's the gate right here. He could open it and walk. He didn't. He jumped over it.
Our guy loved you, okay? Our guy loved you.
It was amazing.
It sounds like it.
Wow. That was something. That was something.
I have a question here from a couple, just to clarify, because I got the ticker going. The brainwave, sound waves in Islam. The brother wants to clarify. You use, and I want to clarify too from the ticker.
Yeah.
1762 and 4144, right?
1782.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm glad you asked, brother. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, let me put it in the ticker right too. So wait a minute.
Yeah, 1782. I only took the first half. There's only a few words after that, referencing the non-believers.
And the other one is 4144.
Yeah, 4144.
Okay, good.
And there's the big overlap of the healing and the mercy.
Okay.
Yeah, and in 44 or 4144, it's a guide and a healing. So I really like the healing part. Like I said, and the thing is, we jump back to that very beginning, and we're talking about it's the inherent power of Allah's words. That's why, I love this stuff. When you talk about the Quran is still here in its original Arabic, and it's God's words being revealed directly to us, right? We know God spoke directly to Moses. We know God spoke directly to Abraham. And now we got this Quran that is written down specifically directly for you and I, for all of us to read. That's the amazing part to me. One of the biggest miracles of the Quran in Islam is the fact that when you sit with the realization, when you know, when you believe it, that's why I'm so disappointed in myself for not knowing Arabic. When you know that this is God's word, man, it's all done. I mean, for me, it breaks down into 2 different things. Number 1, it teaches us monotheism. This is all about one God. No other religion teaches it like this. And no other religion is as clear as this is. The Quran, Islam is clear on monotheism. And all the nonsense these non-believers say about these weird gods and these weird names and it's just nonsense. That's why they're non-believers. And number 2, it tells us how to be good at what we do, at what we believe in. literally, it's literally your favorite parent, your favorite, I don't mean to minimize it. This is your creator telling you in words how to get back to him and how to do it right. There's no better guidebook than that. I'm not one much for reading directions when I put things together, but you better believe I read some Quran, right? It's and again, that's that belief tied into the fact that it's God's word to us. So of course there's going to be some healing in it, and there's a couple references for that. But it's like, yeah, again, you can tell I'm having a holy cow wow moment again. Yeah, it's cool. And those two verses in particular about the healing and the guidance, really, really important.
Okay. And I rewrote that in the ticker for you brothers too, and sisters, to make it more understandable. Okay, another question here from a sister. She said also for her notes, and by the way, guys, I'm going to write this up, have this summarize it too after class too. Also, the sister here is asking, just to get it right, humans cannot hear below 20 hertz, right?
Generally, yes, like 90, I'll throw out a real exaggerated number. 99% of us can't hear below 20, and a lot of us can't hear that, right? But yeah, it's 20 is usually the cutoff. And some people with exceptional hearing have been tested as low as 12. But that is a rare, I'm not that guy. Yeah, the studies, most research says we can't hear below 20 hertz. And that's why binaural beats, using two different headphones, two different, like I said, wired earpieces, if they are considered stereo, meaning two different, instrument or sound, and it can come in differently. You know how you hear a sound and it goes around the room? It's touching all those speakers. That's what I mean in stereo. Let's see. Let's read a question. For the benefit of class, I would like to ask you, as we are all blessed once more, what is your outlook to take upon the relation between various brainwave states while we are fasting? Or we have different positions of prayer? Oh, that's a really good question. Part one. Let's talk about brainwaves, fasting. Let's talk about different positions.
Yeah, read hers out loud. I can't see it. Read it out loud. So I want to see if I can include her questions for this, for our
absolutely.
Read it out like I can't see it. Read her first one.
This is our this is my question. European friend, right?
Yes, read her first one. I'm gonna type it.
Yeah. It is for the benefit of the class, I would like to go. Okay, let me go right to the question. As we are all in the blessed months of Ramadan, what is your outlook or take upon the relation between the various brainwave states while we are fasting, while we have different positions in prayer? Example, the prefrontal cortex and sujood, including the frequencies from the recited surahs, and also the various du'as and adhkars all along our prayer. Okay, that's a couple questions in one, so I'll hit it from the top. Let's go with brainwave states and fasting.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's a great question. And why do you think? I've already talked about the organ involved in your brain. What is that? Your thalamus and your hypothalamus. Don't they filter everything? Guess what area, particularly your hypothalamus, just below that, I believe it's the hypothalamus, not only does that control your appetite, but it controls your emotions. So think about the fact that while you are fasting, you're training the same organ that teaches you how to control your emotions, or that controls your emotions. If you can control your appetite all day, yeah, we get that term hangry. I understand that. That's low blood sugar. But if you really understand, like when I get hungry, I literally, science, as boring as this is, I'll tell myself that I am releasing a hormone called glucagon, which in my body, in your body, in our bodies, glucagon, while you're fasting,
glucagon tells your body to start breaking down body fat as energy because you don't have enough glucose. You know how they talk about beta cells for diabetes? Your beta cells got damaged, your beta cells are dead, your beta cells are, well, there's never a beta without an alpha. Your alpha cells are your glucagon. Did I say that right, glucagon? No, glucagon is the, yeah, glucagon. I'm almost positive the hormone is called glucagon. You can type in what do the alpha cells make, or type in the word glucagon, make sure I said that right. But it's the hormone that tells when your blood sugar starts to go down, glucagon is released from your pancreas. It does that too. And that tells your body to start releasing stored blood sugar or break down fats. Sorry, I said stored blood sugar. Break down stored fats into blood sugar. So that's really important. And the relationship, like I said, with if you can control your appetite, it helps control your emotions. And then you got to think about now you're going to be down in the area of theta and alpha. And didn't we talk about the flow state? Didn't we talk about the calm, the relaxed, just the whole flow thing? The more calm you are, the more you control your appetite, the more you control your emotions, the more calm you are. And that has to move you down lower in the betas. Because like I said, you don't want to be very high about that. But then again, you don't want to be too low because that's where a lot of the disease states happen because it's too decreased. But it's that low middle road again. When you move into, but I don't know any research on fasting and brainwaves. When we move into the prefrontal cortex and body positions, when I was in chiropractic school, it works. When you're adjusting newborns and infants, little babies, you can actually hold them very snugly by the ankles. And the head is the heaviest part of a baby. And what they taught us to do was you could actually just very gently, very, very gently, you hold them upside down and you can see if one leg pulls tight, we're thinking pelvis stuff and muscle spasms. If the arms, how do we do? If one arm hangs lower than the other, hanging lower, then there's an issue there. But you could literally just use the body weight to distract the baby out. And within a few seconds, honestly, within seconds, the baby starts to traction right out. And then what I would do is hold them and I'd find if there's an area, if they didn't come perfectly even or they want me to double check, then I just motion everything because babies are soft. But back to how that relates to the question is, yes, you hold them down, but we were warned about don't hold them upside down too much because blood flow, especially with children, right? And they don't have the muscle control. Even in adults, there's a number I remember, I think it was, if you hold someone upside down for 20 minutes, most people will pass out because of the blood pressure to the head. So yeah, the prefrontal cortex, all these things, I see it all the time in my feed, or references and different things that come up where going into sujood, the heart, most of the body is above the head. So the blood flow to the head, and in particular the prefrontal cortex, but to the head, increases. And that is true, physiological. That's an action that will happen. Like I said, if you hold someone upside down for more than 20 minutes, typically was the number I learned years ago. 20 minutes is about the threshold for most of us, and we pass out because of the pressure, the increased pressure to our heads. So yes, going into sujood makes sense, increased focus. You're locked in on your Lord, you're locked in on your salah, and you've got the blood flow to the area of focus. So the prefrontal cortex, great question, including frequencies. Now the frequencies, like I said, there's that would have, how do you say, we can't hear below 20. So that I don't think is so much voice brainwave function as much as maybe the rhythmicity, the rhythmic quality of the reciter may be very appealing to you or me, may be very appealing, and we like that. I know I was in a masjid down here in South Florida years ago, And these guys literally finished the Quran, I think in 11 days? They speed read through it, and man, almost killed me. I went one night, never went back during Ramadan again. I can't take recitations like that. I like, even though I don't know what the words always are, I like when we differentiate the words for me. So I don't know the frequency so much as, for me, it would seem to be more rhythmic, because our voices, believe it or not, are in a fairly narrow range. Like we talk about octaves. Most people are 1 or 2 octaves. I think there are a couple singers out there that have a wide octave range, very unique. So we speak, we talk, we do almost everything in a very narrow range of voice frequency. And I see multiple components come together in Ramadan prayers. Absolutely. Very, very physical, mental, spiritual. Absolutely. It ties things together so well. And brainwave activities. What's really cool about Salah, and I'm not going to say I'm great at it, but one of the things that really impresses me is, my kids and I always use a term, we talk about training it in and training it out. And khushu'ah, the calm, the centered focus, the really, really, if you can't pray like you see Allah, pray knowing He sees you. That's a really, really cool phrase. And if you can sit there and focus, and again, back to your reference of the prefrontal cortex here, if you can really hyper focus and really try to lock it in, because even Ali radiallahu anh said his focus changed during Salah when they did that, when the Prophet ﷺ did that little challenge. And his focus, he said he was even distracted at times. So the idea is, if you can get that focus in, right, that's prefrontal cortex. Now picture, not only is this area focusing, so you're literally concentrating, demanding more blood supply, right? Then when you go to the floor, you give it more blood supply. Then you come back up, you do everything we do. We go to the floor, we come back up, we stand. Then we go into our postures again. We increase the blood flow, we come back. We increase the blood flow, we come back. Everything we do. It's a lot of opportunity to increase the blood flow up here. And the more focus you can have at any given time, the more demand, and then the more blood supply and oxygenation. And the more you use a pathway in your brain, the research has confirmed it's all over the place. The more you use a pathway, the stronger and more efficient, meaning easier also, to get into that, if that makes sense. It's like walking through the woods. If you walk this way once, and then you walk this way the next time, and then you're way over here the third time, can I keep those together? There we go. And then you go way over here the third time, you're never going to create a path, and it's always going to be a struggle through the woods. But if you go up the same path all the time, you create your path and you're there. The same thing works in your head. So that prefrontal cortex, your sujood, your focus, really, really important. The magnetical waves, when using that Bluetooth stuff, you can get a real inexpensive little current tester to see how much current is coming off of someone. Your earplugs read on that. You literally can measure it. I can't remember the number, but I try not to use them. The kids, my children, have tried to help me out, and they've given me 2 pairs, and then I wait for them to lose theirs and I give them back. So I don't use them. I use plug-in headphones. I don't mess around with. It's one thing, you're holding it next to your head all the time. I'm not putting it in my ears and just going with it. It's too easy to, if I go out for a walk, that means I've got about anywhere from 45 minutes to a little over an hour, depending on the route I take, of that stuff right here burning up my head, literally burning it up. So I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know the blinking light, because I don't, but this, I'm going blinking light. I don't know the blinking light part of it. I just don't wear them. I wear wired and that's it.
And question number 3. I heard about 2 non-Muslim practitioners from America who also have some free content. Oh yeah, I've heard of both of these guys. They're both very scientifically sound. One of my kids used to mention Dr. Dispenza all the time. The other one used to mention Dr. Andrew Huber, or I tried to follow him a couple times. Some of the things he said I disagreed with, but then he's the PhD out at Stanford or something. I mean, he's got a great background. Both of them do. But they've got some good stuff. I'm not even going to say a but about it. Both of them have good stuff. They are well worth following. I just don't follow them, if I could say that. I don't follow them, but they both have great stuff. I've heard from people that I respect that like their stuff. I don't. Let's see, was there anything else? Yeah, inshallah, they become good Muslims also. We've got note-taking, the leaf, the herbs. I totally herbal tea or coffee. I'm fine if you have either one. Yeah. And you've got to honor our South African audience by getting some real rooibos tea. I drink a lot of rooibos tea.
Okay, mashallah. I think that's all the questions and comments that we have for today.
We got, can I interrupt?
Go ahead.
One more question. Question number 4, if you would allow me.
Go ahead.
Alhamdulillah. Go ahead. Question number 4, sister. Oh, maybe I have to type it. There.
Yeah, go ahead.
He is not done. Here it is. What came to mind during class was Zamzam water and its specific impact on brainwaves. Zamzam water, man, Zamzam water is really cool. When I was over in Saudi, and alhamdulillah, Ibrahim can tell you, and Zamzam for Umrah, we were over there. Then 3 months later was when I made my Hajj, which was a blessing. And I made Umrah Hajj the second time. That water is unique and blessed. You have a water supply that they can't create. When I was there, I was talking to someone who, they had their own water bottling company. We visited with them. Oh my gosh. I used to name I so appreciated them. They had their own bottle. They had so many blessings and success with their water company, and it was called El Safa Water. And that family, beautiful family. Brother Ali, I think, is in charge of the company now. He explained to me that I asked him, why hasn't it come overseas? The market in America would be unbelievable if you put that stuff in stores, if you could just get it out there. And Americans would even start going after it because of the quality of minerals in that water. And he said that we can't get it over into here in America. And I think he was talking about Europe too, but he said America. The big issue with us there is it's not a consistent mineral content. It literally fluctuates. And what a blessing that is. Can you imagine living in Mecca or living in that area, that whole area, Africa, the Arab Peninsulas, can you imagine living over there and having access to Zamzam with fluctuating percentages of minerals? 1 week you buy it and it's got this ratio, the next week it's got this ratio, the next week it's a little, but it's all good minerals. Zamzam water, what a blessing we have with that. The brainwave part, I don't see how. Minerals are hugely important for cell function. There's got to be, everything's tied together. I don't know about the direct impact, but if your minerals are in balance, you're going to have better cellular function. And the areas of the brain that creates the waves, as we talked about, if those are running optimally, then your brain waves should be running optimally, shouldn't they? Yeah, minerals are hugely important to cellular permeability, to cell function. Yeah, Zamzam, that's cool. Like I said, when Brother Ali explained to me that mineral content fluctuates, I couldn't believe it, because I drink a lot of mineral water. I'm not a big fan of purified water because that can come from anywhere, but mineral water is actually, it has to maintain a content and it cannot be altered after it leaves its source legally. But with a new government, anything's possible. But yeah, Zamzam is really cool. Very cool.
Okay, mashallah. Okay,
Inshallah.
there's no other questions or comments. Alhamdulillah. All right, what we're going to do is, yeah, I'm going to put this all together, guys, and I'm going to send out just a summary of what Dr. McBride spoke about today. Yes, for some of you, it's kind of technical. A lot of people are saying this is kind of technical, dealing with brainwaves,
Yeah.
but that's what my blog is about. That's why I'm trying to summarize. We get into a lot of technical stuff here, but I'm getting ready to send it out in about 5 minutes. That's what my blog is about. In 5 minutes, I'm going to summarize everything. In fact, I'm summarizing it right now as we're speaking, to put it out right now in 5 minutes of how brainwaves can really help us. In fact, I'm incorporating the questions right now into this. I'm doing it right now as we speak. The healing power of sound, exploring Quranic recitation and brainwaves during Ramadan. That's what I just came up with. Power of my AI technology. So look for this in about 5-10 seconds to come out on your computer. Yes, a lot of technical stuff that can help us, including the answers here. So I'm getting ready to push this out right now. So thank you for joining. Make sure you guys are here next Thursday for this. And also, yes, tomorrow, let me let this out right now. I just got a text from Mukhtar. Tomorrow, inshallah, at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Brother Hanif, who's a graduate from the University of Medina, he's going to be here at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to do his special class on Aqidah, Sirah, and marriage and divorce. He's going to combine all that together from 5 till 6:30. So write that on your your schedule. I'm going to put it on the schedule too. My class tonight is at 10. Yeah, the time has changed. 10 o'clock, I'm doing the Met-Qasidic Tafsir of Surat An-Am. Yes, and that'll be in an hour or so. All right, but put it down, guys, on your schedule for tomorrow at 5 p.m. because we never had a class at that time. Write that down, guys. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brother Hanif, who's a graduate of the University of Medina, he'll be doing his class on Aqidah and also Fiqh tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to put it on the schedule. Yes, and we'll have the Ask Sister Layla live show tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, I'm changing schedules. Y'all see I'm all over. But Dr. McBride's class was technical. That's okay. I'm shooting it out in 10 seconds. And thank you for your questions, Sister Soraya, because your questions allow me to make this really apply to the brain waves and the Quran, all that. It's beautiful. I got the delta waves, theta waves, alpha waves, beta wave, gamma wave, hertz, all that incorporated into it. Now I'm getting ready to shoot it out. Even I got the effect of prostration on the brain activity, how the Quran recitation frequencies impact, all that's coming out right now in 10 seconds, okay? Yes, go to the blog when I put this out.
Hoping, is there a way, the big thing about the waves is not so much, for example, the numbers, but the fact that of what they do. Like delta is deep sleep.
Okay, this is what I got. This is what I got. Delta waves, deep sleep, they got the hertz. Also theta waves, light sleep, meditation, alpha waves, relax, wakefulness, beta waves, active thinking and focus. And he talked about gamma. It says here, The brain waves are electrical impulses or categorized by the following frequencies. Gamma waves are the high-level cognitive functioning. Humans cannot hear below 20 hertz, but these low frequencies can still affect the brain activity through a process called binaural beats. When two slightly different frequencies are played in each ear, the brain perceives a third frequency, which can entrain brain waves, as Dr. McBride explained, to a desired state, such as relaxation or focus. It's got what he said. It was listening. Dr. McBride explained that the frequencies used, and he is incorporate what he was just saying about Quran recitation. Dr. McBride explained that the frequencies used in Quranic recitation often fall within the alpha and theta ranges, which are associated with calmness and meditation. This melodic intonation and rhythmic pattern may help synchronize brain waves, promoting a state of mental peace and healing. And the binaural beats, which originate from the interaction of sound waves, can also be linked to the effects of Quranic recitation. Although the Quran is not recited with binaural beats intentionally, the natural harmonics and frequencies may produce similar brainwave entertainment effects. Now, I don't want y'all to get into that Sufism, Sister Sanera. Sanera. That's what this is saying too. And about the fasting and brain function, the role of the prefrontal cortex. Fasting during Ramadan affects the brain in several ways. Dr. McBride highlighted the interaction between the prefrontal cortex, the thalamus, and hypothalamus during fasting. These brain regions regulate decision-making, sensory processing, and hormonal balance. One key hormone involved is glucagon, however you pronounce it, which rises. And yes, right. Everything he says is checked. This program AI checks. He's correct, and also checks it through the Quran and Sunnah too, because I got this connected through the Quran and authentic Sunnah, Salafiyah, Dawah, mine. One key hormone involved is glucagon, which rises during fasting to maintain blood sugar levels. This hormone change influences brain activity, particularly in the prefrontal cortex, enhancing focus and cognitive control. Now, it also talks about how Quranic recitation frequency impacts the brain for Sister Soraya. The frequency of sound used by Quran reciters can stimulate the prefrontal cortex, the brain area responsible for complex cognitive behavior and emotional regulation. The soothing and rhythmic nature, the brother, you like this, Amir? This is what you was looking for? The soothing and rhythmic nature of the recitation may reduce stress and improve mental clarity by promoting alpha and theta brain waves. This effect supports the traditional use of Quranic recitation as a healing tool, as it helps calm the mind and body, facilitating spiritual and emotional recovery. And as far as the effect of prostration, sujood on brain activity. Prostration during prayer, known as sujood, involves placing the head below the heart. This is why we do that. Dr. McBride discussed how this posture affects blood flow and brain function, particularly in the prefrontal cortex. The physical act of sujood may increase oxygen and nutrient delivery to the brain, enhancing cognitive function and emotional balance. Combined with Quranic recitation, sujood creates a powerful mind-body connection that supports mental health and spiritual well-being. So what's the practical takeaway for Ramadan and beyond? Number one, incorporate Quranic recitation into your daily routine to promote relaxation and mental clarity. Number two, use mindful fasting to enhance your brain function by supporting hormonal balance. Number three, combine prayer postures like sujood with recitation to maximize physical and mental benefits, which the Prophet recommend. Also, explore sound therapy techniques inspired by Quranic frequencies for stress reduction, and pay attention to brainwave states during meditation or prayer to deepen spiritual experiences. So this all put together. We all got everything put together, and I'm going to put this, I'll send this all out to you guys. So that way,
that was great.
So it makes sense, right, Brother Amir and Bilal?
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah. So just, yeah, to access it, you'll go to Sunnahfollowers.net, click on the blog. Yes. That's why I tell y'all, every class we teach. So for a lot of you, it may seem like a lot of technical stuff, or with my class, my Metcalcitic Tafsir, a lot of stuff that you guys are not used to, always go to the blog because we summarize it. And then I'll put out shorts. The shorts are the same thing with us talking, saying the stuff. So that'll help all of you who are new to our website, the new shahadas, that'll help you. Plus you have the PowerPoints that I use for my classes. Right. See, easy. Yes. You like it. See, y'all, that's why I got all these viewers coming. Now y'all see why the website's growing. Why we got 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 people logged in right now to this class. Yeah, we're school. We're school. We're not a lecturer. We're a school, a university. Yes. Okay. All right. So no other questions. Y'all see how to work it. So this will be on the blog. Get ready to send it out. Plus your notes. These are your notes to help. Consider the blog your notes. And when I give you guys quizzes, refer to the blog, right? And the shorts I put out, because all the quizzes will come off the blog and the short. All right. Okay, so I'm going to log out. No other questions? All right, I'll be back at 10 with my quiz. And don't forget 5 o'clock for Brother Hanif's. Okay, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum.